100% tariffs placed on Bitcoin. The CEO of Bitcoin came out and stated in a press release today that the board of directors for Bitcoin came out in a press release today on CNBC, and they said that, nah. The president of Bitcoin came out today and stated that they were, that's not gonna work either. As y'all are clearly aware, I'm BSing right now because Bitcoin has none of those. There is no CEO of Bitcoin. There is no board of directors of Bitcoin. There is no president of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a decentralized network, a decentralized software. So you don't have a CEO, you don't have a president, you don't have a board of directors, you don't have a group of shareholders. Imagine a government or a country coming out and saying that they're putting tariffs on Bitcoin. How would that work? How would you tariff a digital commodity that is neither imported or exported through any traditional means? Interesting. So being that Bitcoin is a decentralized, borderless computer program, software, network, it seems as though Bitcoin is tariff proof. The decentralized nature of Bitcoin allows for it to operate without being under any control of any one government or organization. The borderless nature of Bitcoin allows for you to move and transact with your Bitcoin across any border, from any state to state, city to city, country to country, all with your private keys in your possession. With all the talk about tariffs on imports and exports between different countries and negotiations of trade deals between different countries, it's a wonder why there isn't as much attention being paid to Bitcoin. I think this is a great example of the value proposition that has become clear and obvious to anyone that is doing fundamental analysis on Bitcoin. As more and more institutions and corporations wake up to the fact that Bitcoin is here to stay as a decentralized, borderless network, I think they would definitely be looking to hold Bitcoin on their treasury as a reserve asset and be able to share in the value increase over time. It seems like these companies will most likely be adopting the strategy that has been implemented by Michael Saylor with his company MicroStrategy. Saylor has been able to use cash reserves, debt, and the issuance of more stock to buy more Bitcoin. The part of Saylor's strategy that a lot of companies are looking at is the way in which Saylor is buying more Bitcoin than the issuance of shares of MicroStrategy. Therefore, it's equating to a higher Bitcoin per share, which is adding value to the shares themselves. It's crazy, you know, it's like a positive feedback loop. It's like a hack that he's figured out. And it seems to be working, and a lot of companies and institutions have taken note of this. 21 Capital seems to be the newest company that is implementing a similar strategy as Saylor has done with MicroStrategy. The company is a partnership between SoftBank, Tether, which is the USDT stablecoin, and Cantor Fitzgerald, which is the company that was founded by Howard Lutnick, who is the Commerce Secretary. The company will be headed by Jack Mallers as the CEO, who was the founder of Strike. So he's been an avid Bitcoin bull, has been in the space for a long time. And so it's very interesting to see that another company has come into the space to adopt this Bitcoin treasury strategy. Regardless whether we're headed for a recession or not, regardless whether new trade deals will be agreed to or not, I think it's become clear that the value proposition in Bitcoin is second to none. The difficulty to supply more Bitcoin is one of the aspects of its fundamentals that adds to its value. The software has been coded with a difficulty adjustment where the more value, the more resources, the more energy that is put into the network, right? Through dollars, through mining equipment, through capacity. The higher the difficulty is raised through the code to produce more Bitcoins. Unlike gold, where if you want to supply more gold, well, guess what? You ramp up more gold mining and you mine more gold to supply to the market. Bitcoin doesn't work like that, y'all. It's coded to where it cannot work like that. Another very important aspect of Bitcoin's fundamentals is its security. Bitcoin is a decentralized network. It's an open public ledger of transactions that is running on millions of computers worldwide. Due to the fact that it's open, public, and running on millions of computers worldwide, which are called nodes, there is no single point of failure. Therefore, in order to attack Bitcoin, you would have to perform what's called a 51% attack to take over the network. So you can attempt to hack, you can attempt to put in bogus transactions through the blockchain, through the mining layer, but ultimately, in order to take over Bitcoin, you would have to perform what's called a 51% attack. So let's just do a little math right quick. Currently, the Bitcoin value, the worldwide value of Bitcoin sits at about $1.8 trillion. Okay? $1.8 trillion is the total value of Bitcoin. To perform a 51% attack and take over the Bitcoin network, you would have to put up about 900 billion to $1 trillion to perform a 51% attack. Let's say you're successful in producing $1 trillion of resources to attack Bitcoin in a 51% attack. Let's say you take over the network. Well, guess what you've just done? You've just took $1 trillion and flushed it straight down the toilet. You know why? No one that was on the Bitcoin network is going to follow you. Therefore, the security of Bitcoin comes from the fact that it produces a cost that your average hacker or attacker is unwilling to pay. And when we talk about cost of attack, this idea is something that is very understated when discussing Bitcoin or considering the value proposition of the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Let's use the United States of America as an example when we're considering the idea of cost of attack. Let's say someone wanted to attack the United States. Now, I'm a US citizen, so if any of y'all thinking about it, don't try it, because your ass gonna get towed up. So let's say someone is considering attacking the United States. Well, guess what? you're gonna have to deal with the repercussions of the United States military. Before you even get United States troops on your ground, you're gonna have black ops, you're gonna have Navy SEALs, Green Berets, CIA agents, groups of specialists, specialized killers, okay? Specialize in killings, specialize in logistics, specialize in demolitions, blowing shit up. You know, that's even before we put real troops on your ground, okay? So then let's say we go beyond that. Now we send 500,000 troops over there. Before we even do any of that, guess what's coming over there? Missiles, rockets, explosives. When we send the troops, what are we sending the troops with? Tanks, all right? You know, rocket propelling trucks. So I'm just saying all this to give you an idea about the cost of attacking the United States. And so when we talk about Bitcoin, we talk about attacking Bitcoin. There's a cost to pay, all right? And to attack Bitcoin, right? To take over the network, we've determined you would need about $1 trillion. And guess what? What about the benefit? All right? If you're gonna attack, if you're gonna pay a cost to attack someone or something, well, the benefit has to outweigh the cost, right? In the case of the cost of attacking Bitcoin, there is no benefit. And that's part of the beauty of the fundamentals of Bitcoin. There is no benefit to attack because no one is gonna follow your network, okay? So even if you was to take over the network with $1 trillion, your trillion just went to shit overnight. If you've been doing your research and your homework and you've been doing the fundamental analysis on Bitcoin and you understand why it's decentralized, you understand why it's borderless, you understand why it's costly, okay, to attack, you understand divisibility, portability, drop a comment, talk to me. Let me know what your take on it is. Let me know if based off your fundamental analysis of Bitcoin, you see Bitcoin as being tariff proof. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll holler at y'all on the next one. Peace.